Neymar is finished. Retire before you embarrass yourself. That was the verdict. 18 months ago, that's where football had landed on the man who, 10 years earlier, was supposed to inherit the entire sport from Messi. Clips of him jogging, just jogging, were going viral. Thousands of replies saying the same thing. He's done. Let it go. And then, on the 18th of May in Rio de Janeiro, the most ruthless manager in world football stood up at the podium, looked at all of it and put Neymar on the plane anyway. The press room went quiet for about half a second. What's going on? Neymar Jr., Neymar convocado, Neymar. Then the questions started. And here's the bit almost every Neymar video this year skipped straight past. Everyone was arguing about whether he'd make the squad. Almost no one was asking who'd be making that decision, because the man who put that name on the list is the last person in football you'd expect to do it. He'd snubbed Neymar 3 separate times. He owed him nothing. Professionally, he is allergic to sentiment. That man looked at Neymar and said, yes, with conditions, on his own terms. 3 things over the next 15 minutes. The world wrote the obituary too early. The one judge who actually mattered ran his own investigation in Brazil, half of which had also given up on him, got an answer the rest of football refused to give. Stick with me. To understand the weight of that squad announcement, you have to be honest about how completely dead this story looked. Buried. Eulogy written. October 2023. World Cup qualifier. Brazil against Uruguay. Neymar turns. Barely any contact worth talking about. And the knee goes. Torn ACL. Damaged meniscus. 31 years old, a year out. Then the decision that came closest to ending his international career. He stayed at Al Hilal trying to rehab and justify one of the biggest contracts in football at the same time. 18 months at the club, 7 appearances, the most expensive ghost in the sport. January 2025, Al Hilal cut him loose. He went back to Santos, free transfer, the boyhood club. On paper, the perfect comeback story. In reality, a club fighting relegation and a body that would not cooperate. Hamstring, thigh, more muscle problems. There is a night in 2025 where Santos lose 6-0 to Vasco da Gama and Neymar walks off in tears. Then, late December 2025, another knee surgery. Gian Odi, ESPN Brazil journalist, put it plainly. The best Neymar no longer exists. When rumors of a Brazil recall started building, Christophe Dugarry, the 1998 World Cup winner with France, no horse in this race, called the whole idea a freak show. Said he sensed a deep mockery in it. His point, dragging Neymar out for one more tournament, disrespected both the player and the shirt. And Dugarry has no emotional stake here. He is French. He won a World Cup against Brazil. When even that guy calls it a circus, the pile starts to feel like a verdict. And on the numbers, he had a point. By early 2026, Neymar had around 4 league goals at Santos. 4. In the Brazilian league. For a player whose entire identity was being the most gifted attacker of his generation, that figure lands like an obituary in a nicer font. So, by the time Brazil squad announcement came into view, the honest position, the reasonable one, was that Neymar's World Cup was over. He had not pulled on the national team shirt in 2.5 years. 3 different Brazil squads had come and gone without him. The maths said no. The body said no. Serious football people said no. Hold that because what comes next only matters if you remember how reasonable it was to give up on him. Then, the one man who owed him nothing made the call. Anyone can say Neymar deserves a World Cup spot. His family can say it. Sponsors can say it. Fans who grew up on him say it. And of course they do. People who love you are obliged to believe in you. That is not evidence. The meaningful question runs the other way. Would the harshest, least sentimental judge in the sport look at the same evidence and arrive at the same answer? His name is Carlo Ancelotti, the most decorated club manager in football history. Champions League winner more times than any coach alive. League titles in England, Italy, Spain, France, Germany. And in 4 decades, the one accusation never thrown at him is sentimentality. Cold calls, huge names on the bench, decisions that hurt made without a flicker. He is the first non-Brazilian, the first outsider ever handed permanent charge of the Brazil national team, in a country where football sits somewhere between religion and mythology. Ancelotti arrived with no reverence for the institution and no emotional debt to the names that came before him. The appointment was seismic in Brazilian football. What it meant for Neymar's situation was simpler. The man now deciding his case had 40 years of practice ignoring reputations and 0 history of going soft. Here is the part the romantic version of this story skips. Ancelotti did not pick Neymar at the first opportunity. He picked him at the last one. May 2025, his debut Brazil squad, Neymar left out. August 2025, the final qualifiers, Neymar left out. March 2026, the pre-tournament friendlies, the last meaningful window before the final squad, Neymar left out again. 3 squads, and in March, Ancelotti did not reach for diplomatic language. He drew a line in front of the cameras. His exact words, "Neymar can be at the World Cup if he's 100%. I didn't call him up because he's not 100%. Neymar has to be training and playing. Meet that standard or stay home." Something changed between March and May, and it was not a highlight reel. Neymar came back from the December surgery in February. He scored twice against Vasco da Gama and responded to his critics on camera. Forget the goals for a second. Look at what he did with the calendar. In the 6 weeks leading into the squad announcement, he played 9 of Santos's last 12 matches. For most players, an unremarkable run of games. For Neymar, 2.5 years after his body started filing complaints, 9 from 12 was the only answer to the only question Ancelotti had ever asked. Ancelotti's explanation of the pick was deliberate. His words, "We evaluated Neymar throughout the year and noticed that he recently has been playing consistently and has improved his physical condition." 2 words doing the work there: consistency and fitness. He was describing where the player was heading. Then came the line that mattered most. "We chose Neymar because we believe he can help the team, whether it's for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 90 minutes, or even taking a penalty. And then he will play if he deserves it." That sentence made it impossible to read the selection as anything other than a calculated call. Before any of this went public, Ancelotti got Neymar and the Brazil sporting director on a video call and laid out the terms of his return. No captaincy, no guaranteed starting spot. It's about protecting what the rest of that dressing room needs to do their jobs. 3 public rejections, a video call with conditions, a press conference where Ancelotti all but apologized to the player he bumped to make room. That process mattered. Dugarry had called the whole thing a freak show. The harder you look at how this decision actually got made, the more deliberate it looks. A manager hiring a role player who happens to have 79 international goals and making him agree to the job description, music first. So, was Ancelotti right? Here is where it gets complicated. Brazil could not agree with itself. On the day of the announcement, Globo Esporte ran a poll. Over 130,000 votes. Should Neymar be in the squad? It came back 50.79% against. The country that has supposedly never stopped believing in him was split to the decimal point. Half of Brazil wanted him left at home. But look who was standing on the other side. Ronaldo, the original number 9, had publicly told Ancelotti to take Neymar. His reasoning? Brazil simply do not have another player like him. Mbappe, who played alongside him at PSG, said he could not imagine a World Cup without Neymar in it. I don't know what he said, but he said Neymar is a good player. He makes a lot of difference. He has played with him. He has learned a lot from him. But he knows Neymar. He will prepare for the World Cup. He will be there. He knows him. He knows him. The pick cost something real. To fit Neymar in, Ancelotti left out João Pedro, the Chelsea striker coming off a strong Premier League season. Exactly the kind of in-form number 9 who walks into most squads. Ancelotti more or less apologized to him at the press conference, admitted the kid deserved a spot on form, and chose Neymar anyway. That is the actual cost. You do everything right for a season, every box ticked, and you still lose your seat to a name. If you are João Pedro, that one stings, and Ancelotti knew it. Here is the honest case against it. 4 league goals in the Brazilian league, a body requiring surgery twice in 3 years, a 48-team World Cup across a North American summer, brutal travel, and brutal heat, close to the worst possible environment for a fragile 34-year-old. A squad place built around speculation is a squad place a younger player never gets. That is a real argument, but every piece of it rests on one assumption, that Neymar is being picked to start and carry Brazil. Ancelotti told you that it is not the plan. 1 minute, 5 minutes, a penalty. He is betting on Neymar the moment. 30 minutes off the bench in a knockout game that has gone flat. 1 pass nobody else on the pitch sees, 1 free kick into a pocket of space the defense has stopped expecting. 1 penalty in a shootout, taken by a man who has already stood on that exact spot at a World Cup. You have seen the moment, I mean. Ball glued to his left foot, 3 defenders closing him down in a phone box of space, and somehow it comes out of the other side. That kind of vision is the last thing to go, long after the knees start to fail. Tournament football turns on those flashes in ways a domestic goal column will never measure. And the man making the bet has won more knockout football than any human being alive. This is the one scenario he has more reps in than anyone. He is not guessing. So, was he right? Look at it this way. Ronaldo, the crowds in Rio, the half of Brazil that voted yes, their belief counted for nothing on its own. What made it matter was that the most demanding judge available, with no obligation, no history, and 3 previous rejections on record, ran his own investigation and landed in exactly the same place. That is what the meme cycle missed. The just retire crowd closed the case, and while they were looking elsewhere, Neymar quietly answered the only question that was actually on the table. One more thing. It is the reason any of this matters beyond a name on a list. Neymar has been to 3 World Cups. He has never won one. He has never even finished one cleanly. Home soil. Brazil's golden boy at 22. Quarterfinal against Colombia. Juan Zuniga drives a knee into his back and fractures a vertebra. He watches the 7-1 against Germany from his sofa at home. Russia. Rushed back from a foot injury. He should have had more time to heal. The tournament turns into a meme. The rolling, the theatrics, Brazil out in the quarters. Qatar. Hurts his ankle in the first game. Fights back. Scores a beautiful extra-time goal against Croatia in the quarterfinal. Croatia pull it back 3 minutes before time is called. Penalty shootout. He was set for the 5th kick. The shootout ended before it came. He sat down on the halfway line and cried. 3 tournaments. 3 different ways to walk away with nothing. A broken back, a meme campaign, a penalty he never got to take. That is his entire World Cup story. 2026 is the final page. 34 years old, there is no realistic version of Neymar at the 2030 World Cup. This is it. And against everything the last 2.5 years said about his body and his form, he gets one more walkout, one more anthem, one more chance to put a different ending on the most frustrating great career of his generation. When he steps onto that pitch, watch it properly. Not for the meme, not waiting for him to go down clutching something. Watch it knowing what it cost him just to be standing there. Knowing that the most ruthless mind in the sport looked at the wreckage of the last 3 years and still said yes. My question, and be honest in the comments, when you heard Neymar had made the squad, what was your actual first reaction? Did you roll your eyes? Or did some part of you, the part that watched him at 19 at Santos, the part that watched the Barcelona years, quietly want him to make it. I read every comment. I want to know which one you were. If this gave you a different way of seeing the pick than the one you walked in with, subscribe. Half of football wrote the obituary. The hardest judge in the game refused to sign it. One of them is going to be right. See you in the next one.